In today's news, TCGPlayer is being bought out by eBay. And we are also going to be doing some catch up and talking about the Secret Lair August Superdrop that is coming out and checking out the fun little cards that are inside that. Welcome on in, Dragon Folk one and all. I hope you're all having a fantastic day today. I'm hoping this video comes out on Tuesday night, but if it does not, Wednesday will be the day that you guys see this. So that's how this is going to go for right now. But we wanted to go over a couple things. I've been on vacation, and I unfortunately, every time I go on vacation, I always end up having every piece of information that ever needs to be leaked, or new news occur all at the same time. I've already made the very, very upsetting discovery that I was not here for the first few days of Spoiler Week. We will be making a video probably towards the end of Spoiler Week, probably on the last day of it, talking about all the cards in the set, kind of doing my ratings as for how I view these cards and whether they will have any kind of impact in the meta. But for today, we are going to be talking about the eBay buying out TCGPlayer thing. So everybody pretty much got an email. If you've ever bought on TCGPlayer before, even if you are a seller on TCGPlayer, you now have the email. But I am going to read you off the valued customer email that we got here. Just to kind of give you an idea, it does go over kind of the same general wording as the other one does. So it pretty much is the same thing. So with this being the case, you may read media headlines over the next few weeks that say eBay to acquire TCGPlayer. While this is technically accurate, unlike a traditional acquisition upon close, TCGPlayer will continue operating independently. We will have the autonomy and flexibility to continue running TCGPlayer just as we always have, and I will continue to lead the company as CEO, ensuring our commitment to you and the entire collectibles community remains enshrined and protected long into the future. On a more personal note, today also marks an incredible milestone for the TCGPlayer team. I founded TCGPlayer to ensure that every team member embraced your passion for collectibles and could share in our collective company's success as we built incredible tools and services that support you. I'm proud to share that as part of this transaction, all 688 TCG players, hourly and salary, will share in the financial reward of this deal as a result of our employee stock option plan. So that's kind of neat. They're at least giving out that to TCGPlayer workers currently. Now, granted, that's probably because they're going to be cutting a few of them, I'm sure, but we'll see. But what this means for you as a customer. So, since TCGPlayer's foundings have been committed to the collectibles community, creating tools and services that empower hobbyists and retailers to connect online and with your local communities to improve the exchange of the product and content you love most. I'm confident that with eBay's partnership, we will be even better positioned to serve you. We will have the opportunity to benefit from eBay's decades of industry experience and deep financial resources to expand our catalog of products, level up our tools and services, and ensure hobbyists all over the world are able to shop from their favorite local hobby stores. Importantly, there will be no change in how we work with you, and you can expect the same high-quality service, tools, products, and content you have come to rely on from TCGPlayer. This means any orders you've placed via the TCG Marketplace or any agreements you may have with us will remain unchanged. Your contacts at TCGPlayer will also remain the same, and all businesses will continue as normal. As always, we will continue to communicate any new information leading up to the close and beyond. In the interim, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to our customer experience team. Thank you for being part of the TCGPlayer community. We look forward to beginning this next part of our journey with you and remain as committed as ever to exceeding your expectations. Sincerely, Chetty Hampson, the founder and CEO of TCGPlayer. So, what does that mean for people, right? I think a lot of people are having this idea that there's a monopoly going around, right? We have, TCG Player had just bought out Channel Fireball and POS, and now not only, I mean, maybe even like a couple months later, I think, TCG Player is now being bought out by eBay. Now, is this putting everything into perspective of being like a, trying to make it a one-stop online shop? Yes. Although the thing is, though, is that I don't quite believe that it's going to be as with mergers. Things are always going to be a problem, right? There's always going to be some issues. Some people are going to lose their jobs with mergers because, like, if one team has a good, a good portion of their team, they're not going to just merge and make it a bigger team. It's going to be, the same amount of people that eBay has been working with for a while. Now, obviously, TCG Player says they are going to be standalone in this. They are being acquired, but it is not by normal means. TCG Player is not going to be shut down. I think the only thing that we are going to see as far as TCG Player goes from a customer perspective is you are going to see increased fees. That's right. More fees. And so, unfortunately, that is just the case with mergers. I mean, they have to make overhead, and they're working on getting everything together and making sure their employees are paid. And it's going to be, there's going to be an increase in fees probably, but it shouldn't be substantial, right? I mean, it's going to be a little bit, but not by a whole ton. Most of us probably won't even see it unless you're buying like hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of product at a regular time. But for a TCG Player seller, right, what does this mean? What it means is, as that note had stated, they are hoping to utilize some of the tools and resources that eBay has, and kind of come together to have a better marketplace environment for themselves, as well as the other sellers, right? The other sellers that are on there, even the customers, and so on and so forth. So I know eBay does something along the lines of like $1 tracked shipping for plain white envelopes. So with that being the case, we may see that integrated into TCG Player at some point. That would be pretty cool, simply because, there's a lot of problems with TCG Player it's really this in regard to everything. But with eBay, if you sell something for $1 and it doesn't show up to, anywhere between like $1 and like, $20 or something, I usually send it through TCG Player without tracking, right? $20 and up, I'll send it with tracking, but anything else, I don't. And so when somebody orders $15 worth of product and I put it in a plain white envelope and I send it out and it doesn't arrive, through TCG Player's means, I cannot, I'm essentially going to have to refund them, right? I'm going to have to refund them, and I'm going to have to hope that if it does show back up, right, if it does actually finally get delivered to the address, that they will do the kindness in delivering it back to me so I can have the cards, and then I can just resell them, right? That probably will never happen, because I'm certain if somebody got their money back and then got the cards in the mail and then just didn't have to tell anybody, they'd get the free cards out of it. So, because as much as I am an optimist and I believe there's good in people, there's also bad in people, and that is just the case. But with the $1 tracking, you'll at least know that it was delivered to houses. You'll have that guarantee that that it has shown up to its address. So that might be a good little tool to put in there. I'm sure they're going to be utilizing a whole bunch of other stuff, together, right? Trying to make it a big thing. But I think what I'm really trying to figure out here, right, is that eBay obviously is a hot spot for selling things, right? I mean, people have been selling things on eBay for years, is how this has been. And the fact of the matter is that now eBay owns TCG Player. But here's the difference between the two companies, right? eBay focuses a lot on auctions, and they have a wide variety of product to look through, right? I mean, like anything. I could pull my sock off my foot right now, and I could sell it on eBay, right? But in TCG Player, it's just TCG product, and like specifically cards in general. There aren't too many that, you know, I don't believe you as a seller could probably sell your Ultra Pro stuff. I think maybe you could, but most of the stuff people sell on TCG Player are cards, right? So obviously there has to be a dedicated team on eBay that will be working with TCG Player to kind of make this process easy, right? It's kind of like you specialize in one thing and you know this thing, right? But the boss above you who owns your company has never worked in your position a day in your life. And they just know that they have the more money about it, right? And do I think TCG Player taking this deal was great? Yeah, why not, right? That's the deal was made for almost $300 million, and everybody at TCG Player is going to get a share of that, which is really, really fantastic. But unfortunately, you know, there's going to be a lot of mergers suck. Mergers are just awful. But once you get past the bumps and the little potholes essentially all throughout the road to success, yeah, I think it'll work out, right? I think having something set up directly to be sold is going to work out better for everybody. And more importantly, I think that having it through TCG Player is not, TCG Player isn't going anywhere, right? And because it's not going anywhere, there won't be an issue for things like LGSs, right? LGSs will still be able to check prices. They'll still be able to use things like all of the TCG Player Pro seller benefits or direct benefits, as far as I know. And then even still, if it happens to go through eBay, stores are still going to be able to sell their cards online through some means, and that is going to help bring in revenue when they are not getting the traffic inside their store as much. Depending on the time, right? So I think it's going to be okay. And obviously taking 300 million to kind of merge the company and still have, pretty good control over what the part of TCG Player does and how it integrates into eBay, I think it'll work out fine for them. And as a seller who specifically sells on TCG Player, I think that I'm not going to have an issue. And if I do, selling on eBay is just another thing I can do, right? I hope to make a video series soon where I start with zero feedback on eBay and then try my hardest to get fantastic feedback and keep my sales going through eBay, just as an experiment. So if any of you guys have any tips or anything in regards to selling on eBay, I'd love to hear from you, and let me know in the comments down below what you think about that. But anyway, on to our next thing. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about the secret layers that came out in the August Superdrop. So the secret layer for August, the big super drop essentially for this, just got released. I think on the 22nd it dropped, and it's looking pretty good, honestly. I think a lot of it obviously has to do with Dominaria United, and having certain things come back into new frames. So of course we do have the In Memorium secret layer, which does contain a bunch of cards that are specific to Jaya. Right, obviously Jaya passes away in Dominaria United. Spoiler, but what this does is kind of shows a bunch of cards relating to her, and kind of showing us big story elements in regards to her. The cards that were reprinted are Pyromancer's Goggles, Jaya Ballard, the original Jaya Ballard Planeswalker, Jaya's Immolating Inferno, Pyretic Ritual, and Repercussion. So all of these cards will be, kind of brought through, and in there, they're now going to be in this borderless art. So pretty cool to see this. I love the flames. I mean, the art for the fire art for Magic has always been really, really good. So I've enjoyed it a lot, and while none of these cards are like absolutely necessities, like they're not like the best reprint to ever come through, do I think this is probably the only time these are going to be printed in borderless? Probably. So I'd say if you do run a you know, some people even run things like this in like Chandra Tribal or something of that sort, right? Because like Jaya has a tie-in with Chandra kind of deal. So who knows, right? This could be something that you'd like. But this, of course, comes in foil and non-foil. You can check that out. So next, of course, we do have the Pain Talismans are getting a reprint in a retro frame by the good old Dan Frazier. So Dan Frazier is making some more of these. These are the Pain Talismans, much like the Pain Lands. You can play them. It costs 2 to play them. They can add a colorless, or they can add one of 2 colors, depending on which one you are using. And it will deal 1 damage to you if you choose the color option. So, of course, the Pain Lands work that exact same way. They come into play. You can tap it for colorless, or you can tap it for its 2 colors, but you take a damage. So that's what they can. That's why they consider them Pain Lands. These are all Pain Talismans, but you got all 10 of them out, and they look really, really good. I think they look really good. And then we have the Imaginary Friends. So these are all, I don't know the real story behind them, but I want to imagine it's almost like a little, like a children's like drawing version of these creatures, right? They kind of have a, almost like a children's book look to them, except for Toothy. I don't think Toothy is very crazy, but for instance, the 4 cards that are getting printed in here are Pure Imaginative Rascal and Toothy Imaginary Friend. Both of those are partnered for each other for Commander, so those are partner commanders. Then, of course, you have the Gitrog Monster, which seems to be... I have never heard of Gitrog Monster before in my life, but there have been 4 people that I've talked to since learning about it that have had a Gitrog Monster deck. Like, the Gitrog Monster is like their big thing. So it must be getting more popular, so I'm certain people who are playing Gitrog Monster are going to want to pick this one up. There's also Matter Reshaper. I don't know too much about that specific card, but it does look kind of neat. And I'm sure it's got its place. I think at the end of the day, it's special art that you're probably not going to get anywhere else. So definitely something to look into as far as getting those 4. Of course, you can get them in foil and non-foil. We do also have the Artist Series stuff, but I don't want to go too deep into the Artist Series stuff. A lot of it is not like super amazing. I really want to focus on like the special themed things. So the last one I want to go into for this one is actually my favorite one, and I'm sure it's everybody's favorite. It is the Elder Dragons from Legends are getting a reprint. They're getting a reprint in their textured foil showcase art from Dominaria United. So these are all stained glass texture foiled cards, and they look amazing. Once I found out about the whole textured foil thing, which again I have not made a video on, but there is textured foils in Dominaria United. These textured foils, you can get 1 in every collector booster pack. And the only cards that are textured foiled are the showcase cards. They are going to be the versions that show off a lot of that stained glass flair to it. So knowing that I'd be getting these in a stained glass flair is pretty cool. I may even pick up like 2 or 3 of these simply because they are such a cool thing. I love collecting Elder Dragons, and these 5 have been on my list for a little while now. But of course, they've printed all the way back in Legends. It's very hard to get them. Do I still want to get the ones from Legends? Absolutely. But I can spend $50 and I can get them all in a very pretty texture foil showcase version of themselves in a new form, in a new art. And I really think that I'd enjoy them in there too. So I may buy 2 or 3 and see what happens from there. Another thing that we need to talk about as far as the Superdrop goes. So the Superdrop, right, much like everything else, if you've been keeping up with this kind of stuff, but it's not like a detrimental thing. Secret Lairs come with special bonus cards, usually. And bonus cards can range anywhere between like a land or something like a special card in the back. I think normally they're not lands anymore, but they are doing secret layers where they're giving out borderless versions, extended art versions of sliver cards. So I know everybody's been wanting to get into some slivers. I know slivers are a popular, tribal deck in Commander. They're just popular in general. A lot of people love the slivers. So to know that you can get them in an extended art version of themselves, I think that is enough for most people to want to buy secret layers. So for the last few super drops, there have been the extended art slivers in them, as well as, of course, persistent petitioners. Those are all going to be in different arts, right? Every single persistent petitioner has a different art with different flavor text and is kind of neat in its own way. So I'm sure you'll be seeing more of those as well. But for these, we're not sure what bonus cards are going to be. We're probably not even going to know until people get them. And people aren't going to even get them probably until October. So that is a thing. But I'm very excited for these showcase dragons. I think it's probably the coolest part of the super drop. So even if you can't afford to get the entirety of the super drop, which is, to be fair, almost $500, so that's a lot to drop. But if you pick up anything from this set, you should pick up these dragons. $50, probably like 56 after taxes or something, and comes to your door, and you can get one for yourself, and it'll be a fun time. I think you'll enjoy the art. Obviously, if you saw the art, so if that's something that you're not interested in, obviously don't buy it. But that's a thing. On top of that, also, I did just read an email saying that the Here Be Dragon Secret Lair is finally being shipped. So I believe if it doesn't show up this month, it should show up sometime next month, and then we'll kind of move on from there. If I don't hear anything back at the end of September, then I contact them and I figure out that whole thing. But I should be getting my my Here Be Dragon Secret Lair stuff. And fun fact, I don't even need to open both of them, because I guess Beetle and Grimm are going to be doing a special box opening of one of them in the beginning of September. So hopefully we can take a look at that and see what's in there. That way I don't have to risk opening one of my very limited secret lairs. But if it is something really, really cool in there, I may just crack one, because I did buy two. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, guys, like I said, I'm happy to be back. Let me know what you guys think about everything in the comments down below. And while you were there, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel as well. I like to continue to bring you guys this informational content, and hopefully you all are enjoying it. I know I had a lot of supplemental content come out over the weekend when I was in Kentucky for my vacation. And I don't know whether or not you guys are in love with the dueling videos or if you're in love with the lore videos. I think even if you hate the lore videos, I'm still going to finish up Dominaria United's lore. But I do want to get your genuine feedback on those things, how you would prefer to be sucked into the lore of Magic the Gathering, or if you just don't care at all about it. But, of course, if you're answering those questions specifically, that means you made it to the end of the video, and thank you so much for watching all the way through and having me capture your attention for more than 5 minutes. So thank you again, and I will see you all very soon. Nerd out.